Up here. By the way, in honor of you tonight, if you go online, the title of this message is T-Bird.
All right. Hello, good evening. Anybody from Antioch watching, welcome. This is where it all started. I might as well go to I got acquainted with Promised Land by accident. See, I'm from Tennessee. I had some very serious legal issues up there with my record. If they wanted to max me out, I would have looked at 30 years. That's where I was looking at. So my lawyer told me, you need to go to a rehab so I can tell the judge that you're redeemable. Well, he just said Promised Land Ministries of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I called them, they didn't answer. Left messages, they didn't answer. So Glenn called me back, and I was on my way down here. That was August 28th, 2017. And when I arrived here, Richie picked me up in Tallahassee at the bus station, brought me back, and that night was a fire drill. Now, this is no kidding. This story, my whole testimony is going to be, I can't make this up. I'm sitting at the table. Oh, excuse me, I forgot one minor little thing. When I came here, I had a 40-year drug addiction. Okay, and all the good stuff that goes with it. Prison terms, arrest, broken relationships, you name it. So I'm sitting there at the table, high as a kite, and a bear walks by. That was an omen to come, folks. You see, I did not come here to find Jesus. I didn't believe in Jesus. I can't see Jesus. That book, Fables, Hollywood. Little did I know. Little did I know. When I got here, Monday came around, I had not picked up a rake in 45 years. And there was a fella here, Brother JJ, Matt Gary, and we're at this lady's house, and I can't do this, man. I can't do this. The guy grabs my hands, and he starts praying. Look, I'm from California. Men don't hold hands. That don't happen, okay? So we pray right there. And he said, the day, I got through the day. Then the next day came around, and I figured, 2 or 3 yards, 15 yards later, in the middle of August. But I still didn't believe. I just wanted to go through the thing because I want a piece of paper. Your Honor, please don't lock my client up for the rest of his life. That's what I came here for. I got a lot more, but originally that's what the goal was. I went through the motions. The 12th day I was here, I found out my wife was seeing someone else. I couldn't figure out why at the time, but because you want to get clean doesn't mean people around you want to get clean. Okay? I figured, what's an addict? Addicts are very selfish. And that's what I thought. Hey, I'm getting clean, so you need to get clean. Well, the way it was done, I still don't agree with. But I found out she was seeing someone else. So back and forth to Richie's cabin and to Glenn on one-on-ones. I want to leave, I want to leave, I want to leave. And Finally, Richie said, you know what? It was a Monday night. He said, Ed's going to Tallahassee tomorrow. He can drop you off at the bus station. And that's it. We'll part friends. Well, my BS caught up with me. That's it. Well, 20 minutes later, I told Richie I'm going to stay. Now, the end of September is when my birthday hits. And I was sitting there, and slowly but surely, I started getting more into the Word. You know, I mean, there's all kinds of cool stories in there. There's wars. There's love triangles. There's crime. There's drunkenness. You name it. And there's even a story about a guy living in a fish. And I slowly started whittling down. October 25th, 2017, I turned my life over for the Lord. Now, here's where the best part gets. If there was a doubt in my mind, 12 days after I was baptized, it was thrown out the window. To the day, 12 days after I was baptized, I went to Ed, said, Ed, I got a pain in my chest. Don't feel right. He goes, well, have JJ take you to the hospital. Well, let me tell you, Promised Land's ambulance service is not McCulloch County ambulance service. It took about an hour and a half to get there, but we got there. Sure enough, I was having a heart attack. And they took me right in. And I'll never forget this because from the emergency room, I asked the nurse to call my wife. And that's when that fella answered the phone. And JJ looked at me and I looked at JJ. He's a Georgia fan. I'm a Tennessee fan, but we were both at a loss for words on that. And that really, really, really hit home. I had a heart cat, found out I needed bypass surgery. Oh, great. I got this court thing hanging over my head, my future ex-wife hanging over my head. Now I can't finish Promised Land because of my health hanging over my head. I called Glenn up, and Glenn said something to me that I'll never, ever forget. I said, Glenn, I really need to finish this program. He goes, I know you do. Who said you had to leave? He said, your family. And that right there, you see, being a 40-year addict, my behavior estranged me from them. I'll put it that way. So that meant a lot. I was laying in my bed, looking up at the sky the night before my surgery. It's going through everything in my head. Everything's going on. And remember, God will not give you more than you can handle. Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I went through the surgery. I got out of the surgery. I came back for 10 weeks' time, folks. Fellas, I couldn't lift over 5 pounds. Those 40 rolls of toilet paper are more than 5 pounds. So, I am the only person in the history of Promised Land. I have had Ed as a leader, Richie as a leader, JJ as a leader, Steve as a leader, and Brandon as a leader. When I got through that, I finished the program, went back to Tennessee. Now I'm looking at getting sentenced. I'm waiting. And June 2018. I got 11 years probation, in custody 120 days. For that piece of paper that judge did not know Glen Hamill, did not know Promised Land, did not know Crawfordville, Florida, because knew what I went through and finished the program, and it pulled a lot of weight. All by the grace of God. All by the grace of God. When I went to jail, I'd been to prison. I have 2 prison numbers. I retired. And, of course, the numerous arrests. When you get back into that mindset with the fellows, when I got out, I relapsed. Even after finding the Lord, even after all that, I had a hiccup. And I have to tell you, it was horrible. I was seeing things in the ceiling. I was seeing, and it just, I called Glenn up and I said, Glenn, can I come back? And he said, sure. And the reason I thought that was able to come back was that was God telling me, if you want us to go get high, this is what it's going to be like from now on. It's not going to be quote unquote fun. And what I forgot to say earlier, what cemented my belief was 40-year drug addiction. Imagine how many times I should have had a heart attack and didn't, but God waited until I was saved to give me my heart attack. This time when I came down, I didn't have, well, I had an ex-wife now. I didn't have the thing hanging over my head with court. My PO, I can't ask for a better PO. She won't let me leave the country on a missionary trip, but she lets me come down here. And I just was able to study the book. And I stayed for a total of 11 months. October 15th was time to go back. This time when I went back, I found a church before I found a place to live. If you all are in here, it's very secluded. It's very sheltered. When you get out there is when your real tests come. If you want to stay clean, people, places, things, you must change them. Well, no, wait, let me backtrack. If you want to get clean, you got to want to get clean. Not for your parents, not for your spouse, not for your kids, for you. For you. When, excuse me. If a family member is one of the people, places, and things, and you tell them, you know, I kind of want to stay, I kind of want to get clean, I will be able to hang with you. If they love you, they'll understand. And, you know, it's just, there's just so much more life to offer. So much more out there. So much more. And another thing you have to do is, if you have a 40-year drug addiction, you spend a lot of hours feeding that addiction, going through the behaviors, so on and so forth. And you need to fill a void with that. The state of California spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to get me. They sent me to 8 rehabs. Very good rehabs, too. But it took a little storefront church in the metropolis of Crawfordville, Florida, to undo what the California Department of Corrections could not do. But who actually did that was Jesus, and go ahead and think it's speaking through Jesus. Jesus speaking through Glenn. So when I went back this last time, I got up there, found me a church, and sure enough, what happened in February 2020? COVID. And everything shut down. Just everything. So the church that I belong to started after that. I'm sure you're all familiar with that War of Northern Aggression back in the late 1800s. That's when this church of mine started, 1876. That's how long they've been there. And they've long reach into the community. The Sunday school that I'm in, the people, I did not go to them when they first met me and said, hey, guess what? My name's Thomas Ledford. I've been locked up 12 years. I've been a drug addict for 4 years. I've been divorced. And, I did not do that. I waited and got to know them when I had 2 years clean. I said in praise reports, 2 years clean. The folks applauded me, and they've been very supportive ever since. And they're good folks. And I'll tell you something else about them, if any of them watching. The folks in my Sunday school class, the couples, have been married 30, 40, 50, 60 years. I mean, they must be doing something right. Now, I know Glenn's going to appreciate this one. If you'd have thought a liberal Californian could Sunday mornings hang out with a bunch of ultra uber conservative Southern Baptists. No, when the president makes a goof up, they do tell me about it. No, that I haven't, but a funny thing about it is there's a lot of things that I've changed my views on. First and foremost, abortion. I thought it was a woman's choice. I'm not going to get into politically, but plain and simple, the pastor of my church said, you have to be careful being Christians because you can't pick and choose out the Bible. Well, you know what? They didn't really mean that about homosexuality, so we'll let that go. Well, if you're going to throw that under the bus, then what about, did he really raise up after 3 days? Or should we throw that under the bus too? But if you're going to be you believe the whole book. And what I can say, hands down, there's Brother JJ and Glenn and Richie, and those three, not that the other fellows didn't have something to do with my walk, but those are the guys that I had the most contact with. I am a different person than the one that came here in 2017. The main thing is I must share this. After I was saved, there were still 2 people And I even shared this with Glenn on a one-on-one. I hated these people. One was my ex-wife. The other one was the guy that wore the wire on me that started this whole thing. Okay, well, you know what? If that guy hadn't worn a wire on me, I wouldn't have got here. I wouldn't have gotten saved. And I probably would be dead of a heart attack. So I was laying in bed one night and said, you know, if you're going to be a Christian, the crux of Christianity is what? Forgiveness. You got to forgive. So I forgave my ex-wife. And I forgave him. And he is no longer on the face of the earth. Is people, I can be forgiven. Other people aren't so forgiven. What he did to me, he did to someone else, and they weren't so understanding. I'll just leave it at that. I saw my ex-wife and her boyfriend, told them, didn't agree with what they did, and I told them so. But where I'm at today and where they're at is difference between night and day. Each and every one of y'all sitting in, doesn't matter if you're male or female, okay? If I can do this, you can. And, you know, when you leave here, people, places, things change. Find a church. Find a church. And most of all, keep in touch with Promised Land. As long as a breath is able, as long as Glenn's let me, every year I will be coming back here because next Wednesday I will be celebrating 4 years clean and sober. Thank you for your time.